Greetings from Kingdom Sewing. I'm Gina and I'm here with Melody this morning. We're getting ready to do our tutorial for our Kimberbell Club for April's project, correct?
Correct. It's the Tooth Fairy Pillow, and in your embroidery designs that you sent out, they received two sets. One that worked on a 6x10, one that worked on a 6x10, so it's completely done in the hoop, and that's what we're going to do today. And one that you could actually do on a 4x4, so you do the tooth side in the 4x4, then you do the pocket side in the 4x4, and then everything else was put together on your sewing machine. So if you don't have a machine that you can actually do a 6x10, you can easily do it on a 4x4 or a 5x7.
Sounds great. Okay, so before we get started with that, I just want to say, so I hope you all got to see the live presentation we did on Facebook. Turns out that not so many people were able to see it live, so we decided we'll just go ahead and do a recorded version, so that's what we're doing here. We will also be doing the June project, which is the Wildflower Blooms tote bag. So for those of you that haven't gotten the projects done, Melody's gonna walk you through how to do those. But before we get to that, I just want to let you know about some upcoming things we've got going on. We're trying to get back into our in-person classes with our COVID-19 numbers going up. Who knows how well that's gonna go. But in the meantime, what we're doing is we've decided to try a virtual event because we get such good attendance at our Kimberbell embroidery events. We didn't want to have to limit the number of people who could come in and do that, so we're going to try it virtually. And what we're going to be doing is the Kimberbell Spark event, the Vintage Flora. So that's a 4-hour event where you're going to make two little purses, one cute little zipper bag and then a little clasp purse. And that's going to be on July 24th from 1 o'clock to 5. And so we'll be doing a couple of live broadcasts on Facebook for that, and then there'll be some videos that you can watch with the project instructions. But I'm working on getting the newsletter out in the next day or two, so take a look for that in our newsletter. Like I say, we're trying to get some in-person classes going here. Hope you're all able to attend, and if not, I hope that you're able to get a hold of these videos and still keep your sewing going. We want you to keep going with all of your creativity. So with that said, I'm going to pass the mic over to Melody, and she will walk you through our April Tooth Fairy Pillow. So enjoy.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to clip this down here so that you don't, I kind of talk loud so it doesn't have to be right up next to me. I was just thinking while I was sitting here, I happen to always use white thread. I have hooped no-show mesh in my 6x10 hoop, and I put white thread on my machine, but I'm going to actually change my white thread out for some pink thread so that you can see it in the video. So let me just change that. This isn't going to be seen in the project itself, so it really doesn't matter what color thread you're using. If you have gotten down to Kingdom to pick up your project, you would have gotten a project kit that looks like this. And in the project kit, I'm just flipping it over, you received an 8x8 piece of material. That's for the front of the project where the tooth is going to go. You received a piece of maybe beigey gray material, and this is the side that the pocket is going to go on. This is the actual pocket. It will be folded in half and put on the grayish side of the material. And then you receive two pieces that are for the back of the pillow, along with a piece of white glitter heat press vinyl and silver glitter heat press vinyl. So I'm just going to put these behind me, and I'm going to pull out, I chose pink fabric for today's project because my grandson's too old for a tooth fairy pillow, so the granddaughters are getting them. So why don't we go ahead and start. I've loaded the design, the 6x10 design, into my Solaris, and I am just going to go ahead and hit start. And the first thing it's going to do is it's going to embroider a rectangle on the stabilizer so you know where to place your fabric. Hopefully you printed your instructions, and basically we are on step 2. One of the things that isn't in your project bag, but all of us have in our stash, is warm natural batting. You're going to need to cut a piece approximately 7 inches by 11 inches, and you're just going to lay that piece of batting down on your hoop and hit go. The sew out time for this particular project is 18 minutes, so it probably is going to take us about a half an hour total time to get the project done. Okay. That sewed the line between our side that's going to have our the actual tooth and the side that will have the pocket. If you haven't had, well, you've been sewing at home, hopefully all of you have been getting all of your projects done that you've had for a while in your closet. One of the things you might want to think about doing is bringing your machine down and having a service done on it, because the projects that we do have a tendency to put a lot of dust bunnies, if you will, inside the hook area. So now what I'm doing is I'm placing over the top of my project and going, notice that I'm over the top of this sew line. Okay, so there we go. And we're just going to hit go. I've chosen a white fabric with light gray and dark gray polka dots on it to go with my pink polka dots. And what we're going to do is we are going to place our pocket fabric face down and make sure that it's going over that sew line that we just did, because we are going to flip this as soon as it's over. Okay, at this point you have a choice. You can take your beautiful duckbill scissors and cut some of the fabric off. Okay, and we are just going to flip it back. Now I have a small little iron back here, so I'm just going to move my hoop back here for just a second. And just do a little pressing. If you don't have a little iron that can fit into your hoops, you can use a plastic little iron, which these things are great. You can get them down at Kingdom, and it will do the same thing. Okay, so flip that down. Now at this point, we're going to actually do the batting lines or the quilting lines right here. So if you wanted to change your thread color to either a thread color that matches your the side that has your pocket, or if you want a thread color that matches the side where your tooth is going to go. I'm going to leave it at pink. I like the look of it. And I'm not sure why this didn't cut, but we're just going to cut that right there. And there we go. And we're going to go ahead and hit go. Tim is behind the camera today. So, Tim, do we have any new things happening?
No, we're just opening up the more classes. So our next July Kimberbell class will be, we have 6 classes.
Yes, we have 6 classes. We opened up an additional day, so we have Tuesday, both morning and afternoon, Wednesday, both morning and afternoon, and Saturday, both morning and afternoon. So the Saturday is the second Saturday in July. And then the Tuesday is the second Saturday in July, and then the following Wednesday. And I'm not really sure what those dates are without looking at my calendar.
We will have the calendar coming out. The class is limited, so you have to sign up. We're only allowing a certain amount of people in. We will do another video on that class, so if you're uncomfortable coming to a class, we will have another video like what we're doing right now. We also have the mystery Kimberbell.
We do. We're really excited about the mystery quilt. Kimberbell has come out with a mystery quilt that is basically 40 inches by 40 inches. Gina has ordered the kits, and the kits come with all of the fabric, the embroidery design files, and the embellishment kit to finish it.
We're throwing in the backing.
And the backing, which is a big deal. Also, so every Monday in August, the first Monday you'll come down and you'll get all of the fabric, the embroidery designs, and the embellishment kit. And if you'd like, you can stay here in our beautiful training room and actually do the first project, and then the following Monday, you'll come down, you'll pick up your next piece for the mystery quilt, and again, you can stay in the classroom and sew along with me. So that should be really fun. Next month, we're going to do the Anchors Away and Hello Summer little hoop project. That should be fun. Okay, so in your project kit, you actually received, where is my, here it is. You received a piece of white glitter heat press vinyl. You want to make sure that you peel off the carrier sheet before you actually sew this down. So let me go ahead and sew the placement. So this would be a good time to, I'm going to cut my thread and change it over to white. Okay. Now what I did is I actually pre-cut my tooth with my silhouette machine. So it's already cut and ready to go. So I'm going to pull this out of my machine real quick. And I'm going to take it back to our iron. I'm going to change this over to this so that one of the things that we're setting up on, let me just get the date. On July 22nd, we're going to have an actual class where you can bring your Cameo or whatever type of electronic cutter you have, and we're going to teach you how to use the SVG files that actually come with the files now. With the embroidery.
If they did not have the Cameo, would they have just laid it down there?
You would have just laid it down and then cut around it. And now we're just doing the placement line for the crown. And again, I'm going to take off the project out of my machine so I can actually just hit it with the iron.
They didn't have that, they cut it out already. How do you iron it first, or do you applique it first and then iron it? How is that fun?
You applique it first, cut around it, and then iron it before we put the backing on so that it's attached permanently. Yeah, you don't want to iron it down before you cut around it, or it will be permanent, a nice large square on your fabric. Okay, I'm just changing over to silver thread. I love how the new Solaris doesn't require us to drop the presser foot to actually start sewing. Very cool feature. If you're sewing along with us and you didn't pre-cut your crown and your tooth on your electronic cutting machine, we're at step 18, where you're going to take the hoop off the machine, lay it down, and just give it another press with your iron, and make sure that you put a pressing cloth on top of your glitter vinyl. So I've cut Teflon sheets into 5x7 sizes because that's the size that most of our Kimberbell pieces are. So I can just have a piece already pre-cut and it's ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and put my hoop back on my machine. And we are now at step 19, which is actually putting on the little pink round circles on the tooth to make it look like our tooth has a big smile. So I'm going to change my thread to a berry pink. Obviously, I did a bad job of putting this on the... Okay. For his little cheeks, I wanted it to stand out off the, so we have the little cheeks that we're doing right now. Can you get me some black thread? Well, that sometimes happens going through the multiple layers of material that you are, that the thread actually breaks. But no worries, because you're just going to hit, if you're on a baby lock machine, you're just going to hit the plus minus, and we're just going to go back about 10 stitches. Okay, and the next piece of the design is actually the smile and the little eye dots, the dots for his little eyes, or in this particular case, her little eyes. To back this up and redo the smile and the mouth, because I don't like how my bobbin thread obviously came up. So I'm just going to redo my bobbin. I had white bobbin thread in here. So I'm just pulling it back out. And I'm just going to reset my bobbin thread. I thought I actually had a black bobbin up here, but I don't. That's okay. I was sewing on some sticky back material yesterday, so that could be what's happening. Tim, can you, over on my desk over there is a black bobbin just sitting on the counter. Over right there. Let's just move to a black bobbin. Thank you. Yeah, it could be that. Do you want me to change the... Doesn't feel like it, but could be. course, going through all those layers of okay, it looks much better. Okay, but we are now changing off of, we're going to put back on our raspberry pink, and this is going to be the arrow that shows the tooth fairy where the tooth is and where to leave the money. Bobbins threads tension's coming up. Maybe I've put too many stitches on my machine and it needs to go in for a tune-up, so I have been stitching a lot. Don't want that. Oh well. We all have these issues.
We'll get pretty close.
Okay, you're now sewing the words. Done on my destiny. when we go to Tim, do we have any good deals for on sewing machines this month for June spring cleaning?
Actually, July. Our newsletter for July, August is coming out, and we were going to have a floor model sale.
Oh, nice!
So there'll be some great deals there. If you want to trade in your embroidery machine, let's say it's starting to get tired, it's got 5 million, 10 million stitches on there, it might be time to trade it in and get a new machine again with new technology. So yeah, come and talk to Gina or myself, and we have to show you this Solaris. We have one, at this time of this filming, we have one brand new Destiny left floor model, and then that's it. Poof, no more Destinys ever again.
Oh, I really like the Destiny. I love the Solaris, but the Destiny was a good machine. I actually had to use the projector yesterday because like we all do, we walk away from our machines while we're working, and it decided it wanted to have more of my fabric than I'd like it to have. So I had to take out the stitches, and then I was able to project my stitches back over where I took them out and redo the project without having to scrap the project and start all over again. So that was a very cool feature. I didn't know how much I'd use the projector, but it is pretty nice. I made some stuff for my son who's over in Guam right now, and I use the projector for that. So if you haven't had a chance to come in and look at the Solaris, come in and take a look at it. It's a pretty fascinating machine.
And if your machine has the IQ, Gina has an IQ class coming up. I believe we're doing the middle, but these are all designed with the IQ. So it's a black and white photo, and then Gina actually scanned it with the Destiny or the Solaris, I don't remember which one. And then she added some color. So we'll zoom in on there so you can see the lips. The head scarf, or what do you call that?
Headband.
Headband, and then the ring itself. So that was scanning it and playing with some of the IQ capability on it. Just to see the pencil color she added there.
I like the flowers that she did on the second one.
The color is actually embroidery.
Yeah.
That's an IQ class coming up. Look at our newsletter, which should be going out next week.
Okay, so I am changing my embroidery thread and the bobbin to white. Because the next stitch you're going to do is actually the placement line for the pocket. And if you're sewing along with me, you'll have wanted to take your pocket piece and press it so I have mine pressed, and all I'm doing is I'm setting my pocket piece right up at the line, and I need to change my color again. At this point, you can, if you'd like, tape this down with your Kimberbell tape. I'm just going to go ahead and sew it down. Okay, so you're going to take the hoop off the machine. I'm just going to pull it back a little, and we are going to cut close, but do not cut your stitch lines. Okay. And notice that I did not cut across the top of my pocket. That was your folded line, and you don't want to cut that. Do a satin stitch all the way around to encase the pocket, except for the top, of course. with this tension. So I'm going to finish the design so that you know what the design should look like, and then we will figure out what's going on with my tension. Your next step that you'd have is you'd actually have a decorative stitch that actually goes down the center of your pocket, satin stitch. And then the next step, you are now on step 29, and what it's going to do is it's going to do a placement stitch for your ribbon. Do want to use some Kimberbell tape here, so we're just going to put a piece of tape on here and lay it down. Make sure that you don't roll your ribbon or your rickrack, whatever you're going to be using.
Or something besides fingers down there would be nice safety. No scissors.
No scissors. Okay, you can pull off your Kimberbell tape at this point. And the last step is you should have taken your backing fabric, this is the flap, and pressed it in half. That was in the your pre-instructions. And then you're going to take your backing piece and put it on top of that. And let me just pull it out a little bit so I can make sure I'm going over the entire thing. There we go. Whatever you put down first, and I put down the piece that is pressed in half, that's going to be on the outside of your project. And whatever you put down last is going to be on the inside of the project. So I'm going to take some Kimberbell tape just to be on the safe side, and I'm going to tape these two pieces together. And I'm also going to put a piece right here on the edge where your machine foot could accidentally pull that pocket piece up. But the Kimberbell tape is so nice that even though we're sewing through it, it won't leave a residue. And okay, So I'm not even going to change my thread. You're not going to see it. So I'm going to leave it at the gray that I had in there. And it's going to do what's referred to as a bean stitch or a triple stitch. You see that the machine is going forward 2 and back 1. Tim, after this, we're just going to cut around it and flip it right side out and press it. So that's the end. You're just gonna pop it off the machine, pop it out of the hoop, and then flip it inside out, and you will have a tooth fairy pillow that looks like this. Now, notice that you can go down to Kingdom and pick up your little pre-made pillow to stuff in your project. So I'm just going to stuff this one back in, and it's a nice tight fit. You can also make your own tooth fairy pillow if you'd like. There are instructions on how to the size that you need to make it, as well as how much stuffing you need to stuff in it. So with that, anything else, Tim?
That's it. You did a good job.
Okay. And we'll find out why Sully here isn't feeling good, but next time the tension problem will be fixed. Thanks. See you soon.